you interested in learning how to animate in 3ds Max, I'll be showing you how to do the animation you're seeing right now on the screen. A ball bouncing on a plane. Now, the steps for this are going to be simple. I'm going to show you how to set up the new scene in 3ds Max. I'm going to show you how to create the objects you're seeing on the screen, a plane and a sphere. I'm going to show you how to set the keyframes for where the ball should be when bouncing. And then I'm going to show you how to distort the ball to make it look more elastic. Let's get to it. So I'm going to show you how to set up the scene first. Right now, from the animation you saw last time, I'm already on a new scene, but I'm going to show you how to do a new one from 3ds Max. So first of all, we're going to drag our mouse into the left top corner of the screen, where you will find a button named File. Now, click on File, and you're going to see various options. The one we're interested for this time is New. So you're going to click on New, and you're going to see a new menu has show up. In this, you're going to select New All. And as you see, we have created a new scene. Now, we have different screens already from 3ds Max pop-up. These ones, from the default startup, are top on wireframe, front on wireframe, left on wireframe, and perspective on default shading. For this one, we're going to be using the perspective default shading. So, here is our scene, and I'm going to be showing you how to create the objects that you saw in the animation last time. Okay, so let's dive into the creation of this object. Going to the right of our screen, and you're going to see that by default, we already are on the Create menu. Now, this is where you're going to find all the objects that are primitive to 3ds Max and the ones that we're going to be using. Create is where you're going to find, as I said, all objects for your scene. For this one, we're going to be using a sphere object and a plane object. So let's go and select sphere. You're going to go and select this button that says sphere. Now, on your screen, anywhere in your screen, you can click and drag. This will start creating your sphere. Make it as big as you want. Now, as you see, we have our sphere. Now, if you want to move the camera around in 3ds Max, you just have to press Alt and the middle screen on your mouse wheel. And you can start moving your camera around to get a better perspective of the ball. So let's get it so where we can see it by the side. Now, by pressing W, you can move your ball in the Z, Y, and X axis. By pressing R, you can make the ball bigger or you can make it smaller. You can press E to rotate the ball. Now, it's a ball, so it's not going to show up right now. One little thing that I want to show you is when you're rotating, you see that it rotates exactly by each motion that you do. Personally, I do not like that. So we're going to Control C until our ball is back to normal. And then we're going to go to the top of our screen in the middle. And we're going to go to this option that says Angle Snap Toggle. Now this do that it toggles automatically to a specific amount. Now you can set this amount to whatever you want, but by default, 3ds Max already sets up to 5 degrees every time you move. So, as you see, as I'm moving it, it's moving in 5 degrees increments. I'm going to set it back to where it was, and I'm going to show you how to create the plane. As you saw, the sphere, you can just click on the sphere button and drag it. For the plane, it's the same. Just go to the button that says plane on your right screen. So from the plane, you're going to click anywhere on your screen and drag it as big as you want. I'm going to create it really big because I want to give space to my ball. And that's how you create these objects and how you can modify them how you want, as well as to how to toggle it if you want a specific angle that you want to show. Okay, so now I'm going to explain you how to set up the keys for the ball animation, okay? First of all, you can use any reference image for having an animation. I'm going to show you the reference image that I'm gonna be using. Now I'm gonna be putting this image into the description of this video attached to a Word document that is gonna explain step by step what I'm doing on the screen right now, okay? For this animation, we're gonna focus only on the highs and the lows and the middle frames, just to make it a little bit smooth, but not too complicated. So first, I'm gonna explain you how the keys work, okay? So let's say move your ball to where you want it, a little bit up, to the left, and you have it where you want it, okay? So now, how do you set the animation? Because if you're gonna move it, then that's not gonna save, right? So we are going to be using the button on the low right of your screen, set keys. Now, this is going to save the position, rotation, and size of your ball at the moment. Now, this button looks like a cross and a key. You press it and it automatically sets it up here. Now, what is this ruler looking thing? This is your time frames. Now, moving it a little bit, you can see that this slide over here will preview your animation. For it to be a little bit faster, we're gonna be using the auto key. So this allows you to set up keys wherever you want, as long as you have it where you're selected. So let's move the slider to frame 10, and then let's move the ball to the right. So now, as you see, it has created a new key over here at frame 10. Now, if you're moving your preview, you'll see that it will start moving the ball. And if you go and play the animation with the play button, you will see it moving. Now, for this animation, we're not going to be doing that. I'm going to be setting up the keyframes, for example, here and down, a little bit down to the right, and then, hold up. So first, don't make this mistake, because it's a common mistake, is that people tend to forget to put it where you want it. If you do not put it where you want it, what happens is that that frame that where you had it before gets overwritten. Now, the simple solution is to just move it to where you had it, move the ball to where you want it, as I said, down a little bit to the right, and now if you preview it, you see that it's moving a little bit. Now, I'm gonna be doing the rest of the keys, and I'll come back once you have those, okay? Okay, so now with all the keys already set up, your animation should be looking a little bit like this, going up and down, as we said. For me, I have spaced the animations 10 frames each key. Now, as I said, these are just the up and downs of the keys, okay? So it's gonna be looking a little bit rough, like it's going on a diagonal. And we're going to be smoothing that out in a moment. Now, you may notice that because 3ds Max sets up the time frame to be already 100, you'll have a little bit of extra space. Or if you use all the time frames and you want more frames, how do you increase it or how do you decrease it? So for this, we're going to go as well where the key for the animations are. You're going to go to this little button that looks like a clock with a settings wheel. You're going to click on it. Now it will show this menu over here, and we're not going to worry about the other things. We're going to be worrying about the start time and the length. So we can modify the length to be 50. In my case, this is the amount of frames that I have used to make my animation. So once you have put OK, now you see that it changes from 0 to 50. This way, the animation will play automatically once you have seen it, and it's better for you to review it. If you want the animation to be slower, you just have to go back into the little menu, the clock and the settings wheel, and set the speed to wherever you want. It can be 1/4 of the speed, and then now you can see how it goes, modify it however you want it. So now, with everything back to normal, I'm going to show you how to smooth this animation, okay? So we're going to go in between the frames. For example, frame number 5. As you know, it looks kind of a diagonal if you go down. So let's just move the ball a little bit to the right. So now it will look a little bit better. Like it's actually going down on there. Let's move this a little bit to the left. And you could do this like every 5 frames, smooth it out. I'm going to do that and come back once it's smoothed out. Okay, so now that the animation has the metal frames, now it's looking a little bit smoother. The importance to have these frames as well is to know what is the middle point between the up and the down. So for this, now I'm going to pause the animation and I'm going to select one of these middle frames. Let's go to frame number 5. I'm going to show you how to make the ball look a little bit more elastic. First, let's give the ball a little bit of a rotation. Let's give it, let's say, 30 degrees rotation. Now, as you saw, it snaps, as I said at the start of the video. You can do that in the angle snap toggle button up in your screen. Looks like an angle with a little magnet. Now, for the next part, we're going to be modifying how the ball looks. Now, as you can see, the ball, it's already looking like this, my position, because it's at 30 degrees. By default, 3ds Max sets you the view to be how you're viewing the world. So the ball will modify how you're viewing the screen. To change that, you go up into the view menu, which will show you a new menu, and select local. So now you can stretch the ball how you want it. And then you can do whatever you want. So you're going to press the R key to modify how the ball bends. So as you can see, I press it until it goes into the right motion, which you can also see over here, which it means select and squash. If you click on it and hold it, it will show you the different options that it has. It has the select and uniform scale, the select a non-uniform scale, and the select and squash, which is the one that we're going to be using. Now the ball is going down, so we want it to stretch, and then when it hits over here, we want to return to the regular position. So we're moving 30 degrees to the right, and then squash it. So the ball squashes once it reaches the ground. Once again, it goes up, we move it more 30 degrees, this time to the right, so that it bends regularly. And then go back, bend it 30 degrees to the left, and bring the ball back to that original form. So once you have all the frames set up, you can see now it's looking a lot more elastic. What I have done in between the frames, in frames number 5, 15, 25, 35, and 45, it's stretched the ball so that it's looking like it's coming down. And on frames 10, 30, and 50, it's a little bit stretched so that it looks like it has hit the ground. Now, with each bounce, I have reduced how much the stretch is based on the ball losing speed every time that it goes down. So, frame number 45 might not be as stretched as frame number 5 because the speed that the ball has been bouncing, it's lower. So that's with the animation. Now we have finished, we can have this animation and look about how you want, okay? You can modify it however you want, you can do many other things. This is just a simple bounce animation. Finally, I just want to clarify some mistakes that you may have while working on the animation in 3ds Max. First, and the most common mistake, is the auto key. Sometimes you may forget to activate the auto key while working on it, while making changes that you don't want the auto key to save. For this, you always want to have the auto key set up whenever you're working on the animation. This means that you want to see this red frame that you see around the screen and the red line underneath on top of the time frame. This is how you know that the auto key is set up. Other than that, if you want to redo or undo anything in your project, it's like every other program. To redo, it's Ctrl-Shift-Z. To undo, it's Ctrl-Z. Finally, my name was Dennis Martinez. This was my tutorial on how to do a simple bounce ball animation on a surface. You can follow me on my media in the description, or if you want to go into the detailed instructions, you can also go in the link in the description where you will have the reference image and the instructions for this video. Have a good day.